Hello, YouTubers. This is another session where we continue our OData Neo journey. And of course, I'm joined here by my dear friend who has lights on, Mr. Paul, Paul Wardy. Paul, can
It's
you
good.
explain what's like, is this a gym that you have in the background? Like, are you in the basement? What's your,
This is my home office. It's turned into a bit of a dumping ground for all things, but essentially, so we've got like some Christmas decorations here that just haven't been
decorations?
put in the loft yet.
Okay.
This here is a rowing machine, which is in two pieces, needs to be put back together. That's my fish tank, which needs to be emptied of all that rubbish that's inside it, cleaned out, and then set up for the fish that are in the other tank that's in the kitchen.
Okay.
I've got over
Got a
here.
small ice cream business there in the background. I see it.
That's my telescope. Yeah, that's a chest freezer. Big enough to hide a body in. So, that's probably where it is, guys. If I've murdered Hassan by the end of the show, um, that's pretty much it, really. Yeah, it's just turned into a bit of a dumping ground.
Okay. Okay. What
Can
up?
we
What up,
agree?
Nick?
What's up? Can we agree that Paul has made a calculator app in Blazor and now he thinks he can corner the market?
How?
I always say this. You haven't actually truly embraced a new technology until you hit a corner case that nobody actually hit yet. And that's when I can actually start looking at you and be like, okay, now I get to listen to you. Okay, now I'm interested. Tell me
I'm,
about a corner case that I don't know about. If you're gonna move data around and show it on a screen, get the fuck out of here, man. You're just get out of here. Don't waste my time.
I'm gonna warn everyone. I feel I've been exceptionally nice to Paul throughout the week, but Paul has kind of
He, he,
not.
he stepped. He stepped his boundaries.
He has been advancing
He's
like
making
Putin on
advancement.
Ukraine.
Like
So
he's making a Putin advancement, and Paul is he's getting shady.
I'm ankles, knees. I'm going for next today. So fair warning.
What up,
Sanctions.
Sam?
What's up, Sam?
So so Joe took our code and just right away, where's that guy at? Let's see what he pushed. Hold on. Let's see what Joe's up to. So here's the code.
Actually, I just realized I don't have to do anything because Paul is probably the only one who has the preview bits installed. I don't, so I can't code. So Paul's got a code today.
Did we even upgrade to .NET 7? I don't think we did yet.
Okay. Well, you
Yeah.
should, just so we can force Paul to code, and then my work's done for me.
So since you brought that up, just a smaller ask from everybody, make sure by the next session on Monday, you have Visual Studio 2022 preview installed and .NET 7 also installed. Make sure these two things are installed because we're upping the ante there. We're just taking this to the next level. Okay?
So we're using the latest framework bits, but we're using like C#2 code.
No, no, no. We'll be using. I
A
mean, I
joke.
mean the pattern matching that you wrote is not
Nice.
exactly
I was gonna say because we're not using spans yet, but that's a low blow.
enough with. Somebody tell Paul, show him the door.
Yeah.
Where is this?
Bloody project
Get the
managers,
dirty
man. I mean,
fintech
seriously, he
developer
gets
out
an
here, right?
idea and he thinks he's solved all the problems.
I wish you guys are working with me like it. We call it neighborhoods at Microsoft. Like inside of the company, there's a bunch of teams that sit together. Basically, what I usually do, I have like a little what do you call it, PP gun, kind of a little, and
Like
then
America.
I just point out at people and be like, you're done.
Did you say pee gun?
Yes.
That's a totally different meaning in the UK. Just saying. I'm pretty sure it's different to what he just said anyway.
You should look up PP bison gun or bison gun. You know, it's very interesting.
Yeah. I'm
Okay.
picturing like a squirt gun.
Right.
Here we go. Here
Uh,
we go. Okay, okay. Let's bring this to so okay, this is the assignment for everyone. Visual Studio 2022 by the next session and .NET 7, please guys, because I'm gonna upgrade our I'm gonna push um our entire project to .NET 7, and I'm gonna upgrade the pipeline, you know, to kind of actually generate for .NET 7 and start doing that. It helps all of us using latest and greatest technology, living on the bleeding edge. We know Paul loves that with his C# text file being sent over the wire to,
Oh God.
I was sitting here. This was literally my face, just looking at Paul. I was just doing this. It's like, is this guy for real? Like right now, is this guy? Anyway, I
Hey
thought it
Paul,
was
side note. I want to know. You said that Paul Dino thing about running .NET in the browser. If you have specific info on that, like a link, I'd like to read because I'm curious about the context around that.
Yeah, so I was watching the .NET .NET's 20th anniversary live stream thing that the Scots were on. I think it was Scott, one of the Scots. God, I lose track of all the Scots. One of them turned around and said that they had a plan to enable us to be able to run effectively .NET calls from. So you could say from a bit of JavaScript, you could just execute some .NET code without actually having to run a Blazor application in the browser.
Now he's
So you
starting
could,
to have a little Scottish accent. They
so
got to him.
Was there?
so you're just
curious,
running
was there any-
literally the runtime and whatever code you want to host, essentially. Which was he said it was a planned feature alongside some of the more advanced stuff. So he was talking about multi-threading and things like that as well in Blazor at the time, which is a feature that because of browser technology, if you think about what a browser is, it's essentially just a UI platform, really, or has been historically. So browser technology has been largely behind when it comes to sort of multi-threading type technology. But now that browsers have started to catch up and the APIs are there, they're starting to update the runtime. And so because they've updated the runtime, they can now start to do, for example, multi-threaded Blazor components. So
Are they suggesting that, like, so the implication here, and I'm probably missing a ton of context, is that they are either contributing to Chrome, right? Because if they're going to get the runtime embed in there without sending, WASM, the WASM core, .NET Core as WASM, right? Or they're going to develop their own browser engine, in which case now we go back to the the more fractured environment of like we have Edge, we have Chrome, we have and also I wonder about standards. Like if this is going to be available on all browsers, right, as part of a standard, I'm stoked. I think that
All
would be
browsers
amazing.
except for
So-
Safari, and Safari
Sorry.
has to catch up.
So straight up, the way that it was presented, and I might have misunderstood it, so feel free to go back and watch the same stream.
Highly likely is more the term I think you're looking for, but go ahead.
But yeah, so the
Okay,
way that
I'm sorry.
it presented was Blazor already runs on WASM effectively.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's what,
And
yeah.
And so the way that it was presented was kind of imagine just running .NET code without having to worry about Blazor and
So
UI. So
okay.
you're just running code.
Are you still compiling to WASM?
Yeah.
You have
Okay,
to,
so
you
it
have
sounds
to.
like that they're going to try to get to distribute. And again, I'm not, I have no insight here, but it sounds like that they will ultimately end up trying to get the .NET Core, right, like core components already like as part of the runtime, right? So you don't have to make those references, you don't have to download all of that, and then it's just your compiled WASM that comes down the wire, and then automatically it's already warmed up, right?
Well, that's effectively what you already get with Blazor, right? Because
Yeah.
they've had to
all
compile.
I'm hearing is better interoperability between general JavaScript and any WASM assembly. Basically,
essentially.
have reflections so
Eventually
that
it
you
comes
can
down
figure
to
out the
that.
functions and the things that are in it.
I guess to Paul's point, I'm hoping at some point in time you won't even see .js files even in your resources on a website. You could see .java or .c# or .scala. There are already attempts to make Scala JS, like actually write Scala in the browser.
Yeah.
But it's all very, so these browsers, so my prediction in the next 5 to 10 years is that browsers are going to get so big, they're going to be as big as an operating system. They're going to have a lot of things going into them because the idea of a terminal that has an operating system on it is going to fade away slowly but surely, and everything will be integrated on service. What's blocking that today? Latency, right? If there's no internet, there's no computer, right? But try
So
but try
what
to
got me
unplug
about
it.
it was
They've already
when
abstracted
Scott
that
said,
away, though.
They did. You mean
They
for the
made
operating?
WASM.
Right, right.
Like they just made an assembly type that is
Yeah,
now, other than Safari, cross compatible. They just abstracted all that away. You just
yeah,
build your WASM and put it out there.
yeah.
Doesn't
yeah,
matter
so
if it's
my understanding is that you get some flavor of IL is pushed to the browser, and then
Mm,
there's something that is connecting to the WASM APIs essentially that are exposed by the browser, and it's
mm-hmm.
basically just initiating the .NET runtime, and then inside the IL is executed. And the reason why I think it works this way is because Scott was saying that the reason why Blazor apps are so small is they're able to push IL to the browser. They don't push WASM to the browser. They push IL to the browser. There is a small amount of it. And the reason for this is if they compiled Blazor applications down to just WASM and there was no IL involved, they'd actually be bigger
Yeah,
because
yeah.
WASM
Mm-hmm.
instructions, in order to
Mm-hmm.
do some of the things that
Yeah.
.NET has learned over time, some of the lessons that it has learned, in order to optimize those things,
Mm. Uh-huh. Joe, your
they've
dogs are very loud. Okay,
they
go ahead.
are. Yeah. I was going to say something, so I unmuted. So they essentially took the JavaScript engine and broke it into two pieces. That's where that IL layer comes in. So now they
no,
have
no, 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 no.
the
It's
entire
all one thing.
processing engine.
But there is a JavaScript API in the browser, right? And part of the JavaScript API is the new WASM stuff, which basically allows it to take WASM, IL type assemblies of sorts, right? It's that's what my understanding is. WebAssembly is kind of like its own sort of semi pre-compiled JavaScript, but it's really just JavaScript that's
It's
running
the
inside the
execution
JavaScript.
engine.
Yeah.
It basically allows that process to run, whether it's JavaScript or
Yeah.
whatever.
I am way out of my depth here. This is probably a Scott Guthrie or
No, I
something
haven't
like that
gotten into
discussion.
it, but that's how I would do it.
Hassan, make a phone call. Get one of them guys on and just be like, hey, right, how does this work?
Okay. This is the OData session though, so let's stay there. So let's get started. Joe, do you wanna show us what you got? Because you owe us a failing test, and then we'll make Nick
Yes.
work for a living today.
Let me
Nick,
hit
you're gonna
share.
write code today. Get ready.
I actually just warmed up my environment and I just pulled down the repo. I can go immediately.
See that brother right there? He's a
I am ready to
go-getter.
fucking go.
You see what I just said? Go-getter. Uh-huh. All right.
Everyone looks happy because Friday.
It's Friday, Sam.
It's
Yes,
Friday.
Friday.
Friday. Tuesday.
Are you happy, Sam?
Monday.
Absolutely.
I'm just trying to see how much I can do before Paul starts me like, oh, quit it.
Oh, is that what Paul? I haven't watched Paul code yet. Is he overly distracted by the inane banter by the gallery?
Okay, word on the street, he may know how to write code. We don't know yet.
I remember a point when we considered Joe to be like the neutral one and the one that like, oh, we're not going to throw barbs at Joe. It's just going to be Hassan, Paul, and Nick. And now I get the sense that that's not the case anymore.
Oh my God. Okay,
Right.
so to Sam's point from last time, why do we have the same test, but why don't you just pass the member data upstairs?
So I can do that. I just copied and pasted it to bring it up to you guys because Paul
I see what you did. Yeah,
mentioned that
Mhm,
he had a preference for them to be separated. So I wanted to get more input on him. But basically, if I just do this and comment this out for now, we'll have half failing tests.
Yeah, that's good.
I forgot my.
Paul, why do you want 2 tests with the same code in them? What happened to you?
So
Tell me.
if you look at what I did with the tokens, right, I separated the tokens out into simple and complex tokens.
That's right.
So my thinking was that we get the simple tokens passing as a test, and then we test the complex tokens. But the complex tokens test would evolve over time because the complex tokens need to be randomized. That's what makes them complex, essentially. But then essentially we would have our 2 sets of tokens that then you could write a third test, which could combine or mix different items from those sets of tokens. So that would be it. To my mind, it just felt like natural progression, right? You'd start with, here's a basic set, test them. Here's a complex set, test them. Here's a more convoluted test that tests both of those combined.
So I mean, I don't have a dog in the fight here. Horrible analogy. Sorry, I don't have a vested interest in how this is laid out. But what I would say is that XUnit, I'm almost positive, has the capacity to define a method as the source of input parameters for your test. If
That's
the
what this
logic
is.
for the test is going to be the same, and it's just a matter of distributing the setup between a set of known cases and a set of randomly generated cases.
Yeah.
I would strongly recommend taking that approach and having the method do the randomization and then draw from
That's what this
known
is.
set.
That's what.
Yeah,
this
that's what we got set up here. So,
Sorry again. I apologize.
is.
So while Paul was
zoom a little bit, Joe. Zoom a little bit, Joe, please, if you don't mind.
So that code that no one's ever seen.
Wait! No, don't do that. Don't do
that's the
that.
stuff we're depending on.
Joe, do control and run the wheel of your mouse.
the keyboard
Yes.
bindings on this
I
aren't
see
the
what you're
same.
saying. Okay,
Yeah.
fine.
I ran presentation mode and it screwed me up. So
I
I
thought
got to
I
go
was gonna
back
show
through and fix
something
it
cool.
all.
It's hard to show these guys something cool. I like the other folks I hang out with. I show them control period. They'd be like, "What?" I'd be like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
that's great." Okay, cool.
Well, last session we did Control Alt and then click for the multi-caret selection.
That's right. That's right.
Oh yeah, I love that. It's
Okay.
so good.
Joe, take away line 18. Take away all the stuff down there, and then give it to Sam. Sam, do you want to write code? Hey, Sam. Yes.
Me?
Yes. Sam, shoot.
I'm update the Visual Studio to the latest version.
Okay, let's go to Nick. Nick, do you want to do
Bear
it?
in mind,
It's still running, so give me a couple minutes.
No worries, brother.
So
You're
bear
gonna-
in mind, the complex tokens are not yet randomized; they're just fixed values. So
Correct.
if we go into that,
Can you show us the complex tokens real quick?
this is why I suggested that we separate them out.
Oh.
Well, what we decided earlier is we just do this and make a random one.
Yeah, this is not ready yet. So let's do a random tokens. And then instead of this word 03 and all that, just type this at the top of this method. Actually, never mind. Let me pull
that's
that.
that's another set of tests. So that should be what we conclude today's session with.
Let me try to enhance this. I'll take that code, okay? If that's okay. You already pushed it, right?
Yep.
Is this going to be like CSI where like enhance? You just
enhance. Oh man, that's fun. All right, let's see.
Yeah.
Let me just increase the visibility on my 49-inch monitor here. Not flexing, just bragging.
No, you would never do that.
No, never do that ever.
I just use a 43-inch TV.
That works too, Joe. All right, can you guys see my screens?
Yeah.
All right, perfect. Let's do some stuff. So let's sync this up.
It's funny, over Christmas I upgraded the TV in the living room, and for a little while I had the 55-inch that was on the living room wall just sat here, and I was like, do I do I?
It's only
Mm.
worth it if it's 4K.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, then do it. 50, you might have to set it a little further away from you. You're gonna be like looking all around. Like you want it about arm's length away. Then
Oh,
you don't
yeah.
have to move your head all that much.
I didn't in the end. I gave the TV to my dad.
I like how Hassan is like so focused. He doesn't let any of the the riffraff get to him. He's just laser focused.
Ain't nothing but a thing, one sky man. Let's put some code on the white fire grid people call the internet. See, oh,
So
I mean, totally facetious. I really want to fuck up his flow.
go for it.
I've seen cases where in these theory data or the member datas where you just return an array and then you just do yield return for everything.
That's the old school one.
Okay.
That's the previous way. We used to do this nonsense. Like if I go here and say I enumerable
Yeah.
of an array, let's say a string array or O token array like this. That's how it
Yep.
used to be. But then Shimmy Witz Handler, very very smart guy. He doesn't even do programming like a thing as a day job. He's a musician. He just plays music and theater and weddings. But that guy's brain can light up a continent. He's very smart. He doesn't do it for a living. He does it for fun. And these are the most dangerous programmers out there because he will go to lengths and extents that nobody would go to if they're doing it just for a job. This is why I always say there's a difference between engineers and employees. These are two different things, two different creatures. Okay, so operands, if I know how to spell things, operand tokens. And this is special tokens, just like how normal people would do things, right, Paul? Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Normal.
Mm-hmm.
I've never accused you of being normal, Hassan. Don't worry.
Oh, if I'm normal, that boring, just shoot me in the head immediately. Just throw me out in the ocean. Yep, don't normal. What's that? All right, let's see. See, ironically enough, the more homeless you look and weird, the more likely you are to get a job in the tech industry. So this is out there for you boys and girls out there that want to join the tech industry. Normal is bad. Don't do normal. What is that warning? The switch expression does not handle OPA because of the underscore. Okay, got it. Okay, so all of this, we have only one failing test. That sucks. That's really okay. So let me do this. Let me take this out completely. And let me go here and just type code Rob separate special tokens from operand tokens. Okay, and that's that. Now we go to the next one, and the next one here is these special characteristics or complex tokens. Paul, why do you call them complex? Eh? Why? Tell me. I need some water, but I still can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, the non-complex ones just are what they are. What makes these ones complex is that the characters that are in here are just indicative examples. They're not the sum total of them all.
Can we?
You could probably put the booleans in the special ones. I don't know if case mattered. I sort of asked a question on that one. That's probably something that Sam would know the answer to. What do you think, Sam?
What do you think?
I think because we have the basic, so now we have a complex. It's a joke.
So is like true is true in all uppercase and true in all lowercase. Are they both considered to be, Boolean terms, or is one of those against or not a specification, or should we be considering them Boolean values still? I don't know whether at this point we say, hey, because you're at a point where you're basically saying, hey, okay, I'm identifying what is potentially considered to be a Boolean token, but what is considered to be a Boolean token in OData might be slightly different to what is considered to be Boolean token in general. Does that make sense?
He's talking about truthiness, basically the concept in JavaScript.
Oh God, yeah.
It's just, But that's what I mean. It's a similar concept, right?
Yeah.
Sure. What is
1,
true? What
0,
is false?
yes, no, Y, N, T, F, true, false.
Yeah. So
And
we have to make a decision about what to evaluate to a Boolean token. And that's why I felt one of the reasons why I labeled this section of tokens complex, because there are some complicated decisions to make around how we treat them, right?
I'm only asking just about the categorization. I know there are separator tokens like these, like this space. This is called a separator token, right? That's the category, right? And there are operand tokens like these ones. So these are like arithmetic tokens, or operand tokens. And then there are constants and value tokens. Is there any other type out there that I don't know about? Okay, you don't want to
Well,
talk to me.
there is a whole set of tokens that you didn't mention that are in the set above.
The operand and special, right?
Yeah, but you said
These are
so
separator tokens, right?
separators. Yeah. So are all of those separators? Are they?
All of these should be. What's a dot, Paul?
that's
Can
dot
you?
notation, like property expansion on the entity.
Yeah, that's not a separator token though.
A dot for the
No, it is. It
namespace.
is. It is a separator token. Yes. I'm sorry. Go
Yeah,
ahead, Sam.
No, there's a quote. No, there's a
dot
star.
using the namespace dot type name.
Mm-hmm.
So you can use a dot,
Right.
but it's not the point in the decimal, right?
That's
It's a
right. If you're doing a decimal, it's not a separator token. But remember last time we talked about like some tokens within a certain context may be completely qualified as a completely different kind of O node token, but not necessarily a token, right? But that's okay. That categorization is just for me to kind of simplify things. I am actually truly really stupid, and I try to understand things at a very basic level so I can explain them, you know?
Yeah. So on that point about dots, there, look, line 65, line 66. So I've evaluated both of those as number, or set an expectation that they would be numbers. But one of those contains a dot. Now, the other thing to consider is, are we going to localize this as well? Because the decimal place separator in French, for example, is a comma. So
Before your brain goes off rails and you can turn this into a science project, let's assume that people only write code only in America. You didn't know that?
yeah, my Americanish isn't that strong. I found out in the week. I just need to like
did you
step
know
it
that
up a
there
level.
Paul,
How
did you know
about
that
how
did you know
about we
that
just
okay,
take
go ahead.
number away and GUID and just make them words and let a different layer make the decision
Yeah.
about the platform type that it could be.
Like turn 1, 2, 3 into spelled out 1, 2, 3?
No. What he's
No,
suggesting is like the concept of a string of characters, like a group of characters that has some
data.
meaning separated from the other groups of characters in the entire statement.
Mm.
It's a string basically. It's a string of like tokens.
Well, that's why we need these separators so we know how to distinguish between one. But yeah, to Joe's point, you know, we would consider this a separator in some context, and we would not be a separator in a different context. And that's the complex business logic that we're gonna have on the tokenization level. This is the tokenization service job to tell the O node service, here is a bunch of tokens, and these tokens are actually individually properly parsed for you to start building your hierarchical trees and determine how to process them.
I
So
would just call it a word. Like honestly, like, it's just a blob, right? And like if we can define what the boundaries of these are, I think all the other characters are essential, right? Because they
Well,
have a representation of some boundary, but these are like, yeah, they're just blobs. How they get interpreted, push that down.
even in the namespace situation occasion, it's the dot is not really a separator because Sam, you want the whole statement. for
Right.
the
Yeah.
But
time.
that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. In that, if you use word,
Mhm.
you throw out dot because dot is not a boundary delimiter anymore. And then you will get that thing separate on its proper boundaries. And then with context, which is established later, we'll know how it should be interpreted.
Then we're not going to consider this at all.
Yes, that's I think the point that Joe. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Well,
that's the point.
I personally, that could still be there as an individual token while processing.
How? What's the occasion?
So, just a dot. So space dot space. There's no context on what that should be.
But if it's space dot space, then that dot is just a word. It's just a token like anything else. But it's not a separator token. This is why I'm really going back to that primitive understanding. It's either separator, operand, or constant. There's nothing else out there. Not that I know of. But I want to know because Paul proposed this. Paul, do you have any objection if we remove this as a token at all, individually?
It's difficult to say. I don't know what the impact of that would be. As long as we capture it, I suppose.
We will capture it.
If you've got a token that you evaluate, let's say we call that token word and it contains a dot, then at least we've captured it. But Nick may be right. The context of how to potentially interpret the string that we've got at that point with its dots or its component parts may be a problem for further down the chain.
I mean,
it may not. I don't know.
I have an easy example to prove that will be a problem further down the chain, right? Or rather, we need context. Let's say you just do a simple query, some entity where age, let's say it's a person entity with an age, where age equals a number. 23. That's how old I am, right?
Yeah.
And then, but here's the thing. Like in that case, right? The word is 23, equals is a separator or one of the operators here, and then you have the property. You can't possibly evaluate 23 as a number or whether or not that's a valid context until you have an EDM model by which you can look at the property, say what the type of that property is, and then know that that should be a number on the other side. We look at it, and as humans, we know it's a number, but the computer doesn't have enough. The program at this point doesn't have enough information because it needs a full EDM model and all this other information to be able to know, oh, that's a number, and this property helps me establish that that's a number, and that's how I have to interpret it.
See, that's where we disagree. I don't think you need an EDM model to determine that something that looks like a number to a human eye can also look like a number to a method that's parsing that.
Okay, so let me just hold this here. I'm gonna give you Sam a failing test right now.
Okay.
I'm gonna take this out, and the test is gonna fail. And let me take this out for now. Paul, I'm gonna post this in the Discord, so people so we can copy it later, do something with it. Okay, here you go, Sam. So now you have a failing test. This is
Yeah, go ahead.
Sam, do you have Visual Studio running?
I'm running the Visual Studio installer. I can share my screen.
Ooh,
It's
wait
still
a second.
running, but it's now 57%. So you
Okay, sounds good. Sounds good. Hold on. Let me do this. So in order for us to make this test fail, I'm gonna go and take away Joe's logic. See how we're reverting and still making it test driven? I'm going back here. I'm saying the test is gonna fail because it doesn't really evaluate that option anymore, right? And then Sam, you're gonna take this and you're gonna make it pass. This is a fail. And then we're gonna really need to randomize, talk about these. God damn it, Joe, with your dogs.
How many dogs do you have, Joe?
I have 2 dogs. Well, yeah, I have 2 dogs and we have 2 cats somewhere.
Oh, 2 dogs, 2 cats. So
It's
a wood wall. Cat dog.
It is.
There's a great joke. It's like, you bring in a dog, you take care of the dog, you give it water, you give it, you give it food, you give it a place to sleep. The dog thinks to itself, oh my goodness, this person must be God. They provide all these things. You come into, you do the same thing for a cat. You give it water, you give it food, you give it a place to. The cat thinks, I am God. They just give me all these things.
Why?
Come
What is
on,
this
it was
guy
not
saying?
that bad.
It was terrible.
All right, listen,
It
I can't
sucks.
give gold all the time.
It
Total
sucked
dad
so
joke.
bad.
Total dad joke. I should know on the phone.
Sam, can you minimize your internal Microsoft communications, please?
Yeah, we don't want to see what's happening next, Sam.
Sam, can you please minimize your Outlook? I do not edit these videos. Son, I'm trying to protect your career, for God's sake. To minimize the what the hell is wrong with you? He shut down the whole thing.
Oh man. I mean, I know like there is such a thing as material non-public information.
Yes. I mean, it's very unlikely that you're gonna just find that randomly floating in an Outlook email,
Of course,
but
yeah,
I don't
no.
take these chances.
Exactly. I mean, it's layered security, right? Like
I
it's all
also
about.
I was also for 2 years an engineer at what we call SELA organization, which is the entire legal department at Microsoft, and I may or may not know what can and can't be
You want
displayed.
you want to talk about like fintech not providing anything of value to the world? Let's talk about the legal industry.
Oh yeah.
Now,
This
like
one
listen,
is way behind times. The legal industry, in terms
yeah,
of technology, oh my God, Nick, it's bad.
I
It's
wouldn't want to work
bad.
for it. I'll say that.
No.
It's a promising area where technology can make a lot of difference. It's
Yeah.
also an area where there's a lot of assholes. I don't want to deal with them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did I share?
Do you remember? Yeah, it's okay, Sam. I'll get you covered. Do you guys remember? Speaking of legal department in the tech sector, do you guys remember the judge that showed up in a hearing with a cat, a cat emoji on
Oh
the face?
yes.
That was hilarious. Paul, did you see that one? Here, let me show you this one. This is a mandatory watch for everybody because why there's a gun on my screen? Oh, the PP gun. Okay. Check this out. Sam, watch this. I'm gonna switch over to your screen in a second. I just want to show people something funny. Okay? Sam.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Sam is giving me. Okay, sounds good. Sounds good, man. Sounds good. All right, so let's go to YouTube. Here you go. Share, tap audio. There you go. You guys can see YouTube, right? I hope.
Yes.
Okay. So judge cat filter. Watch this.
Are you allowed to share YouTube on YouTube?
Yes.
Okay.
Tell me if you can
Well,
hear
I
it.
believe you have a filter turned on.
Can you guys hear it?
If you have anything, you might want to. Take
We're
a look.
trying to, can you hear me, Judge?
I can hear you. I think it's a
Holy
filter.
shit.
It
the-
is, and I don't know how to remove it. I've got my assistant here. She's trying to, but I'm prepared to go forward with it. I'm here live. I'm not a cat.
I can see that. I think if you click the up arrow next to the
The guy in the upper right was like he was doing
He
his
was
best to
holding
like
it.
hold back.
Yep, he was just trying. He'd be like, man, this guy is really pushing it. I don't want to laugh. This is a real case.
I would go like, you know what? I'm gonna rock with it. I'm gonna pass my summary judgment. You just gotta have to,
Just
There is dark mode for this screen, Sam.
I just love how he had to point out to the judge, I am here live, Judge. I'm not,
I'm not a
not
cat.
a cat.
Like, was the judge confused by that fact?
Oh my God. The judge was like, I can see that.
I guess he can correctly assume it because he's seeing the cat.
Be quiet.
I'm just waiting for Sam to share his screen.
I'm sharing.
Are you? Are you, Sam? There you go. Okay, So listen to me, brother. I don't want you to touch that Outlook button, logo, that little icon down there. Don't touch that. That's bad. Outlook, bad. By the way, I personally don't use Outlook. I use Mail. I love Mail. It's
Fair.
it's simple, it's sweet. I got 4
Don't
email
do
accounts.
advertise here for the mail.
Why? It's from Windows.
Oh, you're talking about mail. Oh, I thought you meant Gmail. You're just mean the straight up mail client in Windows.
Yeah, Mail.
Oh, okay.
It's simple.
Yeah, I can see it.
I don't understand why anybody has a mail client installed at all on a machine these days.
You use the web.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it's like email is just riddled with viruses as a system. So it's easier just to keep it all on the server and leave it there.
So what I'm
I
hearing is
I
I
can
have
tell you why.
poor security practices, and I'm going to give up on trying.
The whole world has.
That's fair.
It's got a
Anyways,
point.
with the webmail, any Chromium browser with like Gmail and I think even Outlook.com now, you could set it as your computer's default mail client. So you don't really need Outlook anymore.
Yeah.
I only use Mail because I can connect my emails to To-Do, which is another app that's built into Mail, and To-Do to my calendar. That's my productivity. That's how I stay on top of everything. If I don't, you guys wouldn't believe what my calendar looks like. It's ridiculous.
I
I
bet it
do
looks like a
look
PM scan.
chillax.
I
Yeah.
do that same thing, but I also I use Planner on the other side just
Oh,
for
Planner.
projects and stuff because that
Yeah.
integrates with To Do as well.
Yep.
Well,
Yeah.
in line with the requirements of this stream, Hassan, please do show us what your calendar looks like.
Oh, I wonder if there's a way I can just hide the text but show you the blocks. It's really messed up. But whatever the case may be, once it hits 4 p.m. until 9 p.m., I don't touch anything. I just go play with the kids and my kids would just to make it clear and just they didn't get it.
Hang
These
out
guys.
down at the fence on the corner.
You heard it here first, folks. He plays with his kids. Don't worry, they're his kids.
Yep.
Um,
Most of these days, actually, I'd be just laying on the couch playing Breath of the Wild while my son just asking me 50,000 questions about every single character, in
That's
the,
great.
and then my daughter just comes in and just snatches away the controller, and she doesn't do anything with it. She just stares at me like, "Come get it."
Have you made it into space yet in Breath of the Wild?
Made it into space?
So first of all, the stuff that people are doing in that
Spoilers.
game is
I
like
know
ruin it for it.
they use the gravitational thing to fly
this-
across the map.
So there's like someone with explosive arrows. It took them like 4 hours, but with explosive arrows went like you can go like in the atmosphere and see the curvature of like.
Are you
yeah.
kidding me?
It's just.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm
Dude.
serious. It's sick. I'll find it. I'll post it. But it's. I have never played the game. It's sad.
What?
Because I really
You've
should.
never
It's an amazing game. From what I
Why
hear.
didn't you play the game, Nick?
Because I have limited amount of time. The one game that I play consistently right now is a game called Dead Cells. It's a Metrovania type rogue game. So it's like you can do a run in 45 minutes and you just build on that. It's beautiful. Breath of the Wild is beautiful. I absolutely agree. I should play that game.
I like what they did with it.
You should see the note from the engineers that developed the game.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't believe their strategy is like create as you play. So they create an environment and then they develop as they play. So they play the same levels as they're developing it. It's ridiculous.
Nice.
And then they put on every level points. Oh my God. It's a great game. They
didn't think about launching themselves into space.
They've been delaying Sam, where's Sam? We're wrapping up. Give me a passing test.
it's
Do you want me to do it?
no,
Let's
still
Nick pull the code and share your screen. Let's go, man.
Let's go.
yeah. So Nick, can you take the owner and
Yeah.
we can switch next time.
I'm
Yeah.
currently on Hassan Habib Foundation. Is that Foundation Tokenization? Is that right?
Yes,
Yes.
that's the
Okay.
one.
I got you. Video file, share screen. Yes, I know. Don't show
You
the
said
test
we
again.
have to install update the Visual Studio 2022. So I click the install.
Yes.
Okay, let me put this up here so I can see you all while we do this. Okay.
So I
There we go.
appreciate your proactiveness, Sam. It's pretty cool, but just get it ready by next
By the
Thursday.
way, notice that the tests are working now.
What? Oh, okay.
Wow, a PM
Congratulations. Wow.
I'm fucking ready for you. All right. Like, all right. So what am I doing?
Just run the test.
Just run the test. Okay.
Yep. Do you have the latest from that branch?
Yeah, I just pulled the branch down. So
Okay, run the test.
That's
Okay,
not
Joe.
me.
Okay, Joe. No, I know.
Yeah. It's a
So what
dying
quick plan?
ringtone.
Sam, shoot. Hey, Sam. Can I tell you something? Can I tell you something?
Yeah, go ahead.
I love you, man.
Just get it out there.
there we go.
What kind of love?
I was
Oh,
going to say, do you need a room?
And by the way, Paul, not for nothing, you can't get me not to like you. So just letting you know that.
Okay.
I can? Wow. That...
You can't
All right,
get
21
me not
passed,
to
1
like you.
failed.
Oh,
There you
damn.
go.
Is that a challenge?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
What are you trying to do?
Right, here we go.
He said it reassuringly, and everyone's like, "Oh yeah, take him out."
Yep. Yep. Let's watch Nick spin. Here, let's watch Nick spin his wheels for exactly 15 minutes. Take my word for it before he actually makes it pass. On the clock. Let's go.
Hold on. Yeah, expand them. I don't have the screen space that Hassan has, so there we go.
Okay.
So dot value dot runtime expected unmatched value was period. Okay, so the dot's not taking. All right,
Paul, period is full stop. Just trying to make sure you're on the same page.
No, it's dot. That's why they call it dot notation. It's dot. I'm standing by my position.
Nope, Nick, that's the wrong solution. It will
Is
make
it?
the test pass, but it's the wrong solution.
I'm in the tokenization service.
So all you gotta do, this is the reverse. We're reverting an existing decision. So all you gotta do
We're
is
taking out the test for the dot. Sorry.
yeah,
My
yeah.
apologies. Okay.
Welcome. Yay, there he
Hold on.
is. Hi. What are you doing? Yeah, you're fine. Yep, let's go. Yep, yes to all.
Test upper end.
Let's take that sucker out. All right. As I walk this land of broken dreams, I have visions of many things. Here we go. There he is. He jumps, he dunks, he scores.
There we go.
Yay!
Yep. All
Now
right, let's push this up. So
Yep.
this and then
you can do that in Visual Studio, you know.
I know, but as we established last time, I am most comfortable on the command line. I am most efficient, in my opinion, for me on the command. Let me breathe, Hassan.
Well, you could still do that in Visual Studio. You can run the package manager console. Why are you switching windows, man?
You could do Control tilde and just do the damn thing, you know?
It's up there.
Okay, so
By
next
the way, that
one-
was like 5 minutes, not even. All right.
I know because I told you the answer.
Get the fuck. You know.
For
Get
the
out.
best interest of everyone's time. Okay, so listen about these. I'll take this back, and Sam, you're gonna be next to make this actually pass. Ideally, I'd make Nick write the failing test, but
I'm happy to write the failing test.
get out
But
of
you
here
all
with
fuck around. I'm sorry for the cursing. I should stop with that.
I don't
This
mind.
is a children's show.
I don't mind. I don't mind people cursing. Just be careful because you're gonna get my YouTube channel banned. So you're gonna get us
Exactly.
blocked.
Is
So
that a way to make us not like you, or you not like us? Let's go.
He's gunning for this bet.
so okay, let me see what Paul, whatever the heck Paul was doing, with his complex characters, and let's work on those just slowly but surely. Let's see what he's trying to do here. So complex tokens is basically going and saying things like these, right? And we're not gonna preserve the selects, and we're just gonna say this $ something. Oh, I love that. That's brilliant. I love that idea. So let me just go here and say, okay, I'll take all of this nonsense here, and we're
I
gonna
want
start.
to input,
Go ahead,
give
Sam.
a sentence like,
Go ahead, Sam.
OData support using the $, but also support avoid $. Okay.
Avoiding the $ for select,
Yeah.
filter, order, and all that.
Yes.
Really?
So the spec says if you can, for the back compatible, you should using dollar select, but
Mhm.
it's also okay to avoid the $sign. So you can directly
Just
use
And that,
using REST parameters versus OData parameters.
ah, okay. Keep that in your
So
mind.
this was an idea that I struggled with when I was putting this together,
Can
because I
can
toyed with
someone?
the idea of there being a token type of parameter versus OData parameter, and then I thought, well, how would you tell the difference between a parameter and just a word?
Can someone type this down so we can follow up on it in the sessions channel in OData, please? So in here, random text, random word, new mnemonic string, get
um,
value. Go ahead, Sam.
the word
Random.
here sounds like it's a meaningful literal. So maybe we can use in random literal. Maybe
Literal,
literal, yeah.
like this.
What do you think?
I'm okay with that.
There were a few that you took out that were like
No,
the Boolean stuff, for example,
no,
that
no, I
wouldn't be
understand.
randomized.
We're just trying to do incremental. I can randomize booleans as well, even the
No.
state,
I mean like true and
uppercase,
false
lowercase.
are
Uh-huh.
not random strings, right? They are what they are.
That's true. That's true. And we can hard code those. Like we can have many of those, right? And we can determine what we want to put there, right? So okay, so this is OData parameter, and I also want to add in there. Let's see. What was the other thing that you did, Paul?
There's no number.
Number. Is that what? No, okay, perfect.
Hey, sorry to do this. I gotta bounce and prepare for my next meeting. I'll see you
No
on Monday.
worries. No worries. Late. Actually, I will do this. Int.max min value and int.max value. I thought this guy would do that for me outside of the box. Yeah, it would. Good job. Would it? This guy returns an int. That's right. And that guy will be just the number. Random number. Okay. Paul, you're gonna make this pass. Okay. You're it. Let's do this. Let's go back to the tests. I want complex tokens. I need to change the name of complex tokens, but that's less priority at the moment. It's complex tokens. Am I going too fast for you guys, or do you get what I'm trying to do here? What? Let's go, Paul.
Is
Paul.
your plan here to test the entire framework with a single unit test?
Yes, let's go.
Okay.
Let's go, son. Let's go.
Let's go.
Why the
Ah,
Visual installer so slowly?
because you need a real machine. Talk to Michael. Michael, give me a real rig, bro. Also
Okay.
get promoted to manager.
It's fun for me.
Let's go, Paul. I like Sam. Sam is great. Sam is good. Sam, are you gonna come eat food with me this weekend or no?
No,
Hmm, yikes.
maybe next.
That's a
Maybe next. Maybe next.
okay. Next weekend we eat food. Okay, we're gonna eat at the hibachi
Um,
place. Hibachi. Hibachi.
the next weekend is the
Yeah.
last class for ski season. So maybe
Okay.
next.
Okay. Next. Sounds good. I don't feel abandoned or shut down in any way, shape, or form. I will just go to the bathroom and cry for a second and then come back. Sounds good. Paul, do you know how to make the test pass with your 4K screen where nobody can see nothing on it?
Give him more time.
That window is taking up less than a quarter of my screen. If you cannot read that, then you should not be programming.
I heard that some 20 years ago, and now who's laughing? You didn't even have to do anything, just stick around.
Right, so what have we checked in here? We've checked in
Yeah.
parameters and numbers.
Yeah, this is going to be very interesting to see how you're going to make this one pass. It's going to be really lovely.
The default case.
There's a couple of things here.
Oh, why do you always give me the bloody
now it hit him. Now it just hit him because when I said
every time.
So just wait, you guys. When I sent this, he was like, "Are you gonna test every single thing in the framework? Because you could just put all of them at once." And I was like, "Okay, let him cry about it. Now you get it. Okay, now that you understand, okay, and I understand how you feel." I'm gonna wrap up the session so I can give you a little bit of time to kind of mentally, compose yourself, and just be ready on Monday with a solution.
Yeah,
But
I
don't.
think just add a default case, right?
If he added the default case, he may make one pass, but not the other.
Yeah, default case, and if the input is can convert to the integer, so we output integer case. Otherwise, we will return ordered parameter.
It's gonna take a while. I promise you,
Yeah,
because it needs to be also
yeah.
an elegant solution.
Let me do it. I want to do.
Sam, you're gonna be doing it next time. Okay, let Paul come up with something. But for the people watching us, because we're at the top of the hour here,
Yeah.
I appreciate you all. This was fun. I really loved. I thought he would fall for that trap, and he did. He was like, "Are you just gonna send one data entry at a time?" I was like, "Oh yeah, I'll show you in a second."
That's not
Paul,
what happened. That is not
Paul,
what happened.
just the face when he's like, "Why do you always give me the hard stuff?"
I hate you.
It's my bad.
Paul,
Fine,
don't hate.
I've
Paul,
already
don't
made it
hate the
pass.
player, hate the game.
It's fine. I've already made it pass.
Oh, really? Just both of them? Look at.
It's all got to be green.
Hang on.
So, Paul, a requirement is that all of it gotta be green, like Joe just said. Anyway, thank you guys for hopping in today. I wish you all a wonderful weekend. Please enjoy your time, and I look forward to hanging out with you again on Monday. And of course, if you have any, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns about Paul, please feel free to drop comments in the comment section, and don't forget to like and smash that subscribe button. See you in another video. Take care, guys. Bye.